Algebra 1, section 6-4, elimination using multiplication. So 6-3 was elimination, and it was kind of elimination light, where we everything was set up pretty easily for us to do elimination. These ones are going to take a little bit more work. So let's start with an example here. 5x plus 6y equals -8. And 2x plus 3y equals -5. So we're solving these two, this system of equations. We're finding where these two lines cross. Now, here we have a problem with elimination here because we don't have 5x's or 6y's here to just have, to just subtract to make 0. What I need to do here is I look at these and I see, okay, is there something I can multiply by one of these in order to make it so I have something that I can eliminate one of these variables? I want to get one of these variables out of here. And so when I look at these, I see that 3 goes into 3 goes into 6 2 times. And I want this, so I can make this 6y by multiplying everything by 2. But I want it to be -6y, because I want to be able to subtract and make this 0. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this whole thing and multiply by -2. So I'm multiplying the right by -2 and the left by -2. What I do to one side, I do to the other. And so I'm going to rewrite this whole mess here. 5x plus 6y equals -8 over -2 times 2x is -4x minus 6y equals, let me see y there, -2 times -5 is +10. So when you do this, be careful when you're multiplying by a negative. You've got to switch the signs and pay attention to that. All right, so 5x minus 4x is x. 6y minus 6y is 0 equals -8 plus 10 is 2. So x equals 2. Now remember, I'm not done. I need a point. I need my x value and my y value. So I'm going to take this x value and I'm going to plug it into one of these. I'm going to plug it into this one here because the numbers are smaller or lesser. 2 times 2 plus 3y equals -5. So this is 4. I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides. 3y equals -9. Divide by 3. Y equals -3. So there I have the point at which these two equations cross one another, and I have solved my system of equations. Let's do another one. This time we've got, oh, this is very similar to the one we just did, but that's all right. 6x minus 2y equals 10. 3x minus 7y equals -19. All right, so we have a very similar situation here where we need to multiply this bottom one by -2 so that I have -6 x here and +6x here. So again, I'm going to multiply the bottom by -2, and I'm going to rewrite the whole thing. 6x minus 2y equals 10, and -6x plus 14y equals +38. Now it's really easy to forget to multiply these two together. I don't know why, but it just is. So pay attention to that and be careful. 6x minus 6x is 0. -2y plus 14y is 12y, and that equals 48. Divide by 12, y equals 4. So I'm going to start my ordered pair. Y is 4, so I put that in the y spot. Take my y value, which is 4, and plug it into one of these. I'm going to plug it into the bottom one. So I have 4 in for y here equals -19. All right, so I plugged 4 in for y. Now I just need to solve for x. 7 times 4 is 28. So that's negative 28. So I'm going to add 28 to both sides to make those go away, plus 28. 3x equals positive 9, divide by 3, and x equals 3. All right, let's have you guys do one without me. Or maybe two. I'm going to give you two to do. 9x plus y equals 13. 3x plus 2y equals negative 4. And let's have you do another one here. Let's set two of these up. Let's go ahead and put it right here. 2x plus 5y equals 11. And 4x plus 3y equals 1. All right, you've got two systems of equations to solve. And go ahead and get those done. And then we'll come back and take a look at it together. Go ahead and pause. Okay, let's see how you did here. So now for this one, you can do this a couple different ways. You could multiply the bottom by negative 3 in order to make this negative 9x. You could multiply the top by negative 2, and so you've got negative 2y and positive 2y here and eliminate the y's. So either way, you can do it. You should end up with the same answer. But for this time, I'm going to multiply by negative 3 because I feel like it. 9x plus y equals 13. And then negative 3 times 3x is negative 9x minus 6y, negative 3 times 2, equals negative 3 times negative 4, 12. If you end up with a fraction as your answer, which sometimes you will, and that's still the right answer, but if you do, double check to make sure you multiplied this number that's going to be on the right of the equals sign. As I said earlier, that's an easy one to forget. And if you get a weird answer, I would check that first. That's the first thing I would check to make sure I did that right. 9x minus 9x is 0. Y minus 6y is negative 5y equals 25. Divide by negative 5. Y equals negative 5. Y is negative 5. Now I plug negative 5 back into one of these. I'm going to plug it into this one. X plus 2 times negative 5 equals negative 4. This is negative 10, so I'm going to add 10 to both sides. And I have 3x equals positive 6 divided by 3. X equals 2. 2, negative 5 is the point at which these two lines cross one another. That's where they intersect. Now on this one, there's something you might have seen here. See how you've got y by itself, it's not being multiplied by anything? If you liked to use substitution better than elimination, if you felt more comfortable with substitution on a test, and you said, and it just said solve this system of equations, you could use substitution here. If you just subtract 9x from both sides, you'd have y equals negative 9x plus 13, and you could plug that in for your y value and solve as we did in 6-2. So it's up to you, whichever one you're more comfortable with. Let's see how you did on this second U try here. Now for this one, I'm going to multiply the top by negative 2. So I get negative 4x and positive 4x. I'm going to rewrite this whole system. Negative 4x minus 10y equals negative 22 over 4x plus 3y equals 1. 4x's go away. I've got negative 10 and positive 3 is negative 7. Y equals negative 21. Divide by negative 7. Y equals positive 3. Plug this 3 back in. 4x plus 3 times 3 equals 1. This is 9, so I'm going to subtract 9 from both sides. 4x equals negative 8. Divide by 4. X equals negative 2. negative 2, 3 is the point at which these two lines intersect. All right, I've got 3 more examples to do before we are done with the 6-4. 3 more examples. So I'm going to do this example, and then we'll do another one. Hopefully we'll do a U-try that looks just very similar to this. Here's an example. 4x plus 2y equals 8, and 3x plus 3y equals 9. Okay, so now we have a problem. There's nothing I can multiply by 3 to get to 4 evenly, you know, with a whole number. Same thing with this 2 and this 3 here. And so what I have to do is I have to multiply this top one by something and this bottom one by something. So I need to find a common multiple of either 4 and 3 or of 2 and 3. 2 and 3 are easier, I think. So if I multiply 2 by 3, I get 6. If I multiply 3 by 2, I get 6. Okay, so I'm going to go for 6 y's here. So, and one of them needs to be negative. So this, for this one, I multiply by 3 in order to get to 6. And for this bottom one, I need to multiply by negative 2 in order to make this 3y negative 6y. So I need to multiply the top by 3 and the bottom by 2. We're going to rewrite the whole mess. 3 times 4x is 12x plus 6y equals 24. Remember to multiply the one on the right. Negative 2 times 3x is negative 6x minus 6y equals negative 18. All right, now I've got this positive 6y and negative 6y. Phew, I can make that 0. 12 minus 6 is 6x plus 0 equals 24, and negative 18 is 6. So I just divide both sides by 6. X equals 1. If this is confusing, I kind of skip a step here. It's 6x equals 6, right? I ignored that 0, and then I divide by 6. So x equals 1. So the x value is 1. Let's find the y value. I'm going to plug that into one of these. Let's plug it into the bottom one. 3 times 1 plus 3y equals 9. 3 times 1 is 3, so I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. 3y equals 6. Divide by 3. Y equals 2. 1, 2 is the point at which these two lines intersect. All right, let's do one more, and then I'll have you do one on your own that's similar. 5x minus 3y equals 6, and 2x plus 5y equals negative 10. All right, same kind of situation here. I've got to find a common multiple of either 5 and 2 or negative 3 and 5. Now look at this one's kind of cool because I've got a negative and a positive. So I'm going to focus on these y's because then I can just multiply. I don't have to multiply by a negative because I already have a negative here. So I'm going to multiply this top one by 5 in order to get this to be negative 15. I'm going to multiply the bottom one by positive 3 in order for this to be positive 15. So that looks like 5 times 5 is 25. X minus 15y equals 30. 3 times 2 is 6. X, 3 times positive 5 is positive 15y equals negative 30. Okay, so those go away, and I end up with 25 plus 6 is 31. So I've got 31x equals 0. Don't let this freak you out. What do I do? Just divide by 31, both sides, because I want x to be by itself. X equals 0 31s is 0. So my x value is 0. Now I need to find my y value. Plug that x value in here. 2 times 0 plus 5, y equals negative 10. 2 times 0 is 0, so I just divide by 5 from both sides. Y equals negative 2. 0, negative 2 is the point at which these two lines intersect. Okay, last one, and it is a U-try, and it is 6x plus 2y equals 2, and 4x plus 3y equals 8. All right, so you're going to decide which one you're going to go for. Are you going to go for the x's, or are you going to go for the y's? And what do you need to multiply both of them to get that them to be the same number? Although one of them needs to be negative, and one of them needs to be positive. So go for it. Go ahead and pause and get to work. All right, let's see how you did. So you might have done it a little bit differently than the way I'm going to do it here, but that's okay. You should still do the steps the same, and you should still end up with the same answer. So I'm going to look at these y's here. You might have gone for the x's, but I'm going to go for the y's, and I want them to both be 6y, except for one of them will be negative and one of them will be positive. So the top one, I'm going to multiply by 3 so that I get positive 6y. The bottom one I'm going to multiply by negative 2, so I get negative 6y. Okay, so when I multiply all this out, I get 18x plus 6y equals 6 over negative 8x minus 6y equals negative 16. All right, now I am going to eliminate here. So 6y minus 6y is going to get me 0. 18 minus 8x is going to get me positive 10x plus 0 equals negative 10. And so I have 10x equals negative 10. Divide both sides by positive 10. X equals negative 1. Negative 1 is my x value. Now I need to plug negative 1 back in here. 4 times negative 1. You could plug this negative 1 into this top equation if you wanted. You should still get the same y value, but I'm just plugging it into the bottom one because I feel like it. Plus 3y equals 8. So this is negative 4 plus 3y equals 8. Add 4 to both sides. 3y equals 12. Divide both sides by 3. Y equals 4. So here is the point at which these two lines intersect. I have solved my system of equations. And that is the end of 6-4. Do a good job on the homework.